Hello, it's Clive Rocksinger here. I've solved this amazingly easy. I started reading my book and watched a few videos, and point number one was I had a wire missing off the main circuit, and the trigger function on this Crow is a sampling software. And what it is when you've got complex waveforms, with the old analog Crows, they would display the waveform more or less straight away, because they're basically hardwired internally. And that little thing up there refers to the trigger, and this is your trigger function here, all this stuff. I don't know if you can read that. It's where is it? Right, your trigger menus here. Now all it is a sampling, and what it's doing, it's sampling the waveform. Then on stop. And you've got to allow time for it to compile all the data. And I noticed I actually did a test on a capacitor and I couldn't get it to work. And then seconds later I got this beautiful capacitance waveform. And I thought, oh, that was from before, and I wondered how that happened. And so really all it was I wasn't setting the trigger, I didn't have the circuit wired right, and if it's a fairly complex function, you have to allow time for the trigger to work, because it basically it compiles all the data, and then once it's finished it'll display it on the screen. So it turns out it's not as complicated as I thought. And this circuit now, I can happily say is working. Turn that on. So I'm getting 4.85 volt. Where's that? Right, that's at the variable resistor, which is this one here. And that's on, and then we turn this on now, and there she be. Isn't that beautiful? We now have a waveform, and I'm starting to get the hang of this kinda. I haven't completely got it sorted out, but that's definitely doing something there, so I'm real happy with that. Now that I've got a waveform and some values, I can now do some calculations with this and start to be able to manipulate it and design stuff with it. So yeah, I'm going in leaps and bounds now. It wasn't as complicated as I thought to start with. It'll probably get complicated again. But at the moment, I've got a waveform, and now I'm going to do some calculations and try and correlate the mathematics with the actual function I'm getting on the Crow. And then of course the readings I'm getting on the meters are of course RMS, not peak to peak. I don't really get specific with that to start with. You don't start getting down to the nitty gritty until you know what you're doing. At the moment all I'm trying to do is get a waveform, but I'm very happy with the waveform I've currently got at the moment. It's kind of what I expected, and now I can do some math. So I'm well on the way to designing stuff with diodes, and apparently transistor is just two diodes back to back. It's obviously probably a lot more complicated than that, but to make it very simple, that's pretty well all they are. So having an understanding of diodes is critical, and that's why I'm going, because this is semiconductor physics in actual fact, and that's why I'm going down this road, because there's a real heavy gear with the diodes. Once you get a handle on diodes, you've got a pretty good idea what's going on in circuits. Alright, Clive Rocksinger over and out.